Hello, seventh graders. It's Mrs. Corslane checking in with you on what you need to do for writing time today. First, there are some students who have turned in their paper. I check through those papers and I let Mr. Jankowski know if you are finished, like you have 5 distinct paragraphs, you have the right highlights, you have a works cited, or if you need just to fix something small. And so if you need to make a fix, he has that list. I would recommend that you get with a peer and look at their paper, see what you need to change. It's probably just something small. So once you have that done, let him know, and then you can move on to the ladder puzzle. If you are not finished, here's what you need to do. First off, the argumentative writing organizer needs to be done first. Once you do, that's the hard part. Once you do all that work, then it's just copying those sentences into the final paper, running through the revision checklist, and turning it in. So you've done a lot of the hard work. You just need to finish it. So the first thing at the top, just want to talk real quick about the research organizer. There is a score in PowerSchool for how much you have filled out. If you had 2 claims, your 2 reasons why your class should be saved, and you have 4 pieces of evidence, then you would earn 10 points. If you have anything less than 10 and you add that information into this organizer, let me know. I'll update the score. All right. So, what needs to be filled out? Just a little recap. We spent a day on intros and conclusions. We spent a day on counter claims. We spent a couple days on writing our body paragraphs. So, we've definitely spent a lot of time learning about these different parts. And if it's not done, we just need to finish it. For our introduction paragraph, you can get ideas for a hook sentence from one of the documents in Google Classroom. You can also read the article, The Value of Taking Electives, to provide 2 sentences of background information for your introduction. And then your thesis statement should already be in there. It should be a simple and strong statement like music is the most important class, or all students should take coding classes. For your body paragraphs, your claims, your reason why your elective is better should go at the top. So the claim should always come first. Then you take the evidence that you had in your research organizer and you either paraphrase it or use a direct quote. Then in this part, our reasoning, okay, so we learned claim, evidence, reasoning. In the reasoning, you explain why that evidence backs up that claim. Why does this prove that? And you say it in your own words. If you do a good job of reasoning, you're not going to need these concluding sentences. So remember, we said those were optional. You're going to do the same thing for your second reason, or second claim, excuse me. Then we have our counterclaim. If you were here the day that we wrote counterclaims, you have a counterclaim because we all wrote counterclaims. You're going to have 1 to 2 sentences to acknowledge the other side. Some people think, or it can also be said that, or other people might believe. You can put that in here. Then you start saying why your class is still better. So again, up in this part, you're saying something that someone could say against your class or another great thing about a different class. And then you say 2 to 3 sentences why yours is still better. Use these sentence starters. Last paragraph, the conclusion. You're going to restate your thesis using different words. You don't want it to be exactly the same. You're going to summarize your claims from your body paragraphs, 1 sentence per body paragraph. So that's 2 sentences. And then a mic drop sentence. Again, you can get examples of how to end your paper in a strong way from that document in Google Classroom. Once you have this finished, you have done, again, most of the hard work. Then you're going to go to your argumentative final paper, and you're going to copy and paste the text in each box over into your final document. You're going to have to work box by box, otherwise it's going to try to paste the table. You could also try just doing a Control-Shift-V, which is pasting without the formatting. You can see if that works. Once you have that in, then you need to also make sure that you have a works cited. So I already have the citations for you because we all use the same articles. And so you just need to find the ones that you used and copy and paste them over. You should have used 3 of them. 2 about your elective, and then if we use the value of taking electives in our introduction, we would also use this one. So you would put those in the bottom of your final paper under the heading Works Cited. You also want to go through the revision checklist and check your paper against the rubric. When I look at the revision checklist, there is a slide that talks about highlighting. And so those of you who need to fix your highlighting, here's a couple things that you need to think about. First, make sure your essay is all one font and size. Make sure you don't use a font that's all caps. Then you're going to highlight your thesis and claims in purple. Your thesis should be in both your introduction and conclusion, and your claims are should be the first sentence in each of your body paragraphs. So there should be 4 sentences throughout your paper highlighted in purple. Then your evidence is light blue, your reasoning is yellow, your counterclaim is green. You should also do spelling and grammar suggestions and fix all the errors in red and blue. Run through all of this, including checking your paper in Grammarly. Once you've done that, your paper should look something like this. And thank you to the student that I did remove your name, but I think your paper looks really good and is a great example for the rest of us. So you can see that this student has a title that's awesome. They've got everything in the same size font, and they have highlighted their thesis in purple, their claim in purple, their evidence in blue, and their reasoning in yellow. What I like about this paper is that we've got 2 different ways to do claim, evidence, reasoning. So you always do the claim first, and then your evidence is 2 sentences. You can split those apart or you can put them together. So in this paragraph, the writer wrote more than 2 paragraphs, or it's kind of a long sentence. Okay, a few sentences of evidence here, and then wrote at least 2 sentences of reasoning after it. So these facts flow together. In this one, they did it the other way. You can do it either way. You can do a mix and match like this reader did. So claim, evidence, reasoning, and then evidence, reasoning. So you can split your evidence and reasoning if the evidence doesn't really flow together. You can show your evidence and explain it, and then show your other piece of evidence and explain it. Or like they did up here, evidence, evidence, reasoning, reasoning. They also have their counterclaim in green and their thesis statement in their conclusion, and a works cited with 3 citations. Excellent work on this paper. It looks really good. Great example to show the class. So when your paper looks something like this,